Hello fellow sewing enthusiasts, it's Allison from Sewing and Trifocals, and today I'm using a real camcorder, but the remote needs a new battery. So you'll probably see my hand going behind the camera to turn it on and off every once in a while. And I have a little classical music in the background to kind of fancy things up a little bit. I hope it's appreciated. And we're going to do something that is a big brave step for me tonight. So anyway, here's my somewhat bleached out face. Here's the little remote. It just needs a new battery. It's been sitting for a while, and hopefully my videos will be a little more professional when I get a new battery for this thing. You may remember I'm doing this quick sew padded, and I'm making the so-called hipster or bikini, I forget which will probably come up to my natural waist. Normally I do these things with my cell phone, but you really can't edit the video very much if you make a... Okay, as I go out here, you can see the giant piece in the back is the back piece of the panties. And I kind of arbitrarily decided which side was the right side, because this doesn't have a print on it. So where I've written the numbers for these pieces, that's the right side. There's the front, and then we have the two crotch pieces. And I just have to arbitrarily decide one is C for the crotch and one is L for the lining. Because I guess normally people put a different color, white or something, for the lining. I don't have any of that, so I'm just going to use this same fabric that I'm using for the rest of the garment. Okay, so this music is a little ominous, and maybe that's a good thing, because the second step is when you have to do the enclosed crotch lining procedure, which is, it seems pretty intimidating. But I won't lie, I did watch the Evie Lalouve video on how to do this, and I also have a little bit of a cheat. I have a used book from the Singer how-to series that's called How to Sew Lingerie, and they show a photograph of this. So here we have a step 1, pin crotch piece to back, right sides together. Whoops, I just smacked my camera too. Let's see here. Okay. I need to get a better tripod too. Sorry about that. Anyway, here is crotch piece, right sides together to the back. Of course, this is a little bit weird because you're pinning something that curves in the opposite direction. And I don't know if you can see that very well. Maybe I can zoom a little bit. Anyway, you can see the bottom of this is a lot bigger. The actual back piece of the underwear is a lot bigger than the edge of the crotch piece. But nevertheless, we shall persevere. The first thing you do is cut out the notches, so I'm going to match the notch and put in a little pin. Actually, putting the wrong side here. The square notch here goes right here, and that's a little bit of a larger size on that side of the crotch piece, or gusset, which sounds prettier. Okay, now I'm going to kind of try and make the corners come together. This is kind of weird. I gathered the back of the panties the last time because it was so much wider than the end of the crotch piece. Let's see if I can do this without doing that. I don't know if I have that much challenge or not. So anyway, I'm going to pin the corners. The pot is at a goofy angle, but anyway, you can see actually with just a little bit of just a little finger easing here, you can get these two oppositely curved pieces to fit together. So you really don't need to gather because they have some stretch. I was kind of nervous the first time I did this, so I felt like, oh, I'm going to screw it up if I don't gather it. But actually, it's going to be fine, so I'll finish pinning it, and then I will go to the sewing machine. Okay, now that we have pinned together the crotch piece and the back of the panty with right sides together, we're going to just sew a wobble stitch 1/4 inch seam here. I always forget to put the darn thread underneath the foot, and that really matters for some reason. It really, really matters. Trying to make sure I don't sew any lumps or wrinkles along with the fabric pieces. Well, I just reread the directions. Actually, I'm supposed to pin the liner to this too and then stitch through all 3 layers. And it says here, pin the right side of the crotch lining to the wrong side of the back matching notches. So I'm going to do that and then stitch through all 3 layers. One is always read the instructions carefully. Here are all 3 layers of the crotch lining pinned together, and now I will stitch those. This fabulous enclosed crotch seam will not work if you do not have all 3 layers, apparently. This seemed so scary to me last summer, but after watching a video, I think I can do it. I'm not sure. And here we go. Except that the needle came unthreaded. Man, this is not my night. Okay, so we rethreaded our needle here. Now we're going to sew our 1/4 inch seam. There's this thick material is something else to sew through. Indeed. Okay, now we're cooking with gas over here. And just for safety, I'm going to do a little bit of a back stitch. To get the sewing started on that thick material, I actually started away from the edge and back stitched to the edge, and then started my wobble stitch, and for some reason that worked. Okay, so again, being faithful to read the directions, the next step is to cut the seam pretty close to the stitches, because we're going to be flipping things around. It's pretty amazing how it works, and I absolutely had no courage to try this last summer. So anyway, I will see you after I trim my seam here. As you can see, I think I need to get some new scissors. So here's what we're dealing with. Sorry about the shaky hands here. Easy button on this old camcorder. Anyway, we are going to attempt to sew a lined crotch with enclosed seams, and you can see it's quite magical. This is exactly what I did on the pattern, these 2 steps so far. Then there's this step down here, and you're going to be flipping things, and this is the thing that kind of scared me. Last summer I just thought, there's no way I can do this. But since I've watched a video, I think I can do it, and here's your final result, which is a fully enclosed gusset. I guess you could say there are no itchy seams exposed anywhere close to your skin. So that's our goal, and I'm going to try this following the pattern instructions and see what happens. Okay, so I've got batteries for this remote and it's working. And here, as I will point out with my screwdriver, here is the scary part. And so I'm going to have to turn this around so I can read it. And I'm going to, with the help of my pins, try to do this thing and come out with good